Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana. Jasoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So readings, third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, text 1 and 2. Yesterday's verse. Today's verse is verse 1 and 2, right? Yeah. Chapter 2, yeah. Shri Sukuvacha Iti Bhagavata Prishta Chatra Vartam Parishashayam Pravikaktum Nachoseha Adhuka Kantyat Samishvaraha. Shri Sukuvacha Iti Bhagavata Prishta Chatravarta Priyashrayam Prativaktum Nachotseha Hot Kantyat Samishvishvaraha. Shri Sukuvacha Iti Bhagavata Prishta Chatravartam Parishrayam Prativaktum Nachotseha Hoitakanyat Samishvishvaraha.
Shri Sukuvacha
Shri Sukuvacha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Chatravartam Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Priyashrayam
Prativaktum Nakochotseha
Prativaktum Nachotseha
Aukantyat Smariteshvaraha.
Otkantyat Sameshvaraha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Sukavacha
Ti Bhagavata Prishta
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Chatravartang Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Priyashrayam
Prativaktung Nachotseha
Pratikaktum Nacho Sneha
Utkantyat Smariteshvara
Vatkanyat Sameshvaraha
Shri Sukha Uvacha
Shri Sukavacha
Iti Bhagavata Parishtaha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Shatra Vartam Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Prayashrayam
Prativaktum Nachotseha
Prativaktum Nacho Sneha
Atkuntyat Smariteshvara
Autkanyat Sameshvaraha
Here you go.
Shri Sukha Uvacha
Shri Sukavacha
Ti Bhagavata Prishta
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Chavartam Parishyashyam
Chatravartam Prahishrayam
Prativaktum Nachotseha
Prativaktum Nachoseha
Outkandyat Smaritsvara
Pahatkandyat Sameshvaraha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Sukavacha
Iti Bhagavata Prishtaha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Shatravartam Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Prahishrayam
Prativaktum Nachotsneha
Prativaktum Nachoseha
Utkantyat Smariteshvaraha
Hoita Kantyat Sameshvaraha Shri Sukavacha Iti Bhagavata Prishta Chatravartam Prahishrayam Pratikvaktum Nachosteha Ahoitantyat Samishvaraha Shri Sukavacha Iti Bhagavata Prishta Chatravartam Priyashrayam Prativaktum Nachosteha Ahoikandyat Sameshvaraha
Shri Sukha Uvacha
Shri Sukavacha
Iti Bhagavata Prishtaha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Shatravartam Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Prahishrayam
Prativaktam Nakosheha
Praktivaktum Nachotsneha
Outkantyat Smariteshvaraha
Ahoitikanya Samishvaraha Shri Sukavacha
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Iti Bhagavata Prishta
Shatravartam Priyashrayam
Chatravartam Prahishrayam
Prativaktum Nachotseha
Prativaktum Nachoseha
Utkantyat Smariteshvaraha
Ahoitkanyat Samishvaraha. So how's everyone? Everyone standing? Okay. word by word sentence. Sri Sukavacha. Sri Sukadev said, Iti, thus, Bhagavata, the great devotee, Krishna, being asked, Chatra, by Vidura, Vartam, message, Priya, Ashrayam, regarding the dearest, Prativaktum, to reply, Na, not, Cha, also, Vaseha, became eager, Ahoikantiat, by excessive anxiety, Smarita, remembrance, Ishvara, the Lord. Translation, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the messages of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. So text 2, Ya pancha hanyayo matra pratirashaya yachita ta nichadrachayam yasha sarpayam balalilaya. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. Purport. From his very birth, Uddhava was a natural devotee of Lord Krishna, or a Nityasiddha, a liberated soul. From natural instinct, he used to serve Lord Krishna even in his childhood. He used to play with dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing, feeding, and worshipping them, and thus he was constantly absorbed in the play of transcendental realization. These are the signs of an eternally liberated soul. An eternally liberated soul is a devotee of the Lord who never forgets him. Human life is meant for reviving one's eternal relation with the Lord, and all religious injunctions are meant for awakening this dormant instinct of the living entity. The sooner this awakening is brought about, the quicker the mission of human life is fulfilled. In a good family of devotees, the child gets the opportunity to serve the Lord in many ways. A soul who has already advanced in devotional service has the opportunity to take birth in such an enlightened family. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 6:41. Suchinam smriditam gehe yoga briste bhajayate. Even the fallen devotee gets the opportunity to take his birth in the family of a well-situated brahmana or in a rich, well-to-do mercantile family. In both these families, there is good opportunity to revive one's sense of God consciousness automatically, because particularly in these families, the worship of Lord Krishna is regularly performed, and a child gets the opportunity to imitate the process of worship called archana. The Pancharitki formula for training persons in devotional service is temple worship, whereby the neophytes get the opportunity to learn devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Prisket also used to play with Krishna dolls in his childhood. In India, the children in good families are still given dolls of the Lord, like Rama and Krishna, or sometimes the demigods, so that they may develop the aptitude of service to the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, we were given the same opportunity by our parents, and the beginning of our life was based on this principle. So these really nice purports. Texts of purports. Prabhupada, he's saying there's talking, he used to hear the ringing of the bells. It's in Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, the ding, 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 ding. So Prabhupada and his sister, they wanted deities. So Gaur Mahan, Srila Prabhupada's father, he got them Radha Krishna deities, and so they were imitating the worship, offering them prasadam and fanning them and offering arti like that. And so this is the same point here that Maharaj Prisket, he, in his childhood, he was also playing with dolls of Krishna and offering worship and dressing them and feeding them, and so was Uddhava. So Maharaj Prisket, he was fortunate. He saw the Supreme Lord before he even took birth in his womb and protected him from the Brahmasvarapa and Vasvatama, who tried to kill him. like that. So as Maharaj pointed out, is that Maharaj Brisket was always seeking out who that beautiful form was, like that. So he was always thinking of Krishna, always like that. And so let's see, there was one lecture on these two verses, and it was kind of interesting. He was talking about how in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight because Arjuna's thinking that to leave the battlefield and to take up the life of a renunciate would be better than killing all his kinsmen. But then Krishna was telling him that according to his own nature, he'll fight anyways, you know, like that. He would be called a coward. He probably wouldn't have even been able to even leave the battlefield because he probably would have challenged him to a fight. So he would have to fight according to his own nature. So he was discussing that Prabhupada mentions that the illusion isn't the mirage, right? The material world isn't like a complete total illusion like the Maya bodies or the Buddhists say. But it's a mirage, and so the mirage exists because, you know, we know that there's a desert, and we've been in the desert, and we've probably seen these wavy little things before, right? And so we know there's water, right? Water exists. You know, I've never seen one that looks so real water that, you know, I jump into it, but apparently in the past, people would actually jump into it and die choking, swallowing sand. But I haven't ever seen one that really looked like real water. You know, it just looked like that wavy stuff, right? Like those vapors. So he says that the mirage is real. The mirage is an illusion. But the illusion is what you think you can do with it. Like that. Like, it's not really water. It won't really quench your thirst. Right? That's the illusion. So then he was going on speaking about how we should raise our children in Krishna consciousness. He was talking about how in family life we're kind of thinking, we're entering into family life, we're kind of thinking like, okay, well, we need some things, we have some desires, so I want this and I want that, and then we connect it to Krishna, like that. So he's saying the brahmacharis, they don't really have very much. They're already more connected to Krishna, like that, you know. So he was discussing this, how to, you know, raising the children in Krishna consciousness, performing the proper ritualistic ceremonies before one's life ends. One practice these reformatory process, the purificatory processes, you know, such before one's born, the garbhadang samskara for conceiving a child, and then the accepting a spiritual master, becoming initiated, taking brahminical initiation. So there's these samskars, these purificatory processes, and one should practice them before before the end of one's life. So what he was talking about is that how everything's carried out by our natures. So, we'll still act according to, you know, like Arjuna, he has to act according to a chatra. So we'll still act according to our nature, but we link it to Krishna, the Krishna consciousness. And that's why there's the 4 rules and regulations, and why we follow a specific process, you know, the morning program, the evening program, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, acting in engaging in devotional service throughout the day, you know, which would be engaged by, you know, our temple authorities, you know, like that. So this is all for a specific process, because we're still acting according to our nature. But then we understand that, you know, because in Bhagavad Gita it states that we actually do nothing, everything's actually carried out by nature. So that Krishna is actually that nature, like that. So we link it with that. You know, otherwise they're thinking that basically we take credit for all the good stuff, and for all the bad stuff we say, oh, it's somebody else, right? Somebody else's fault, you know. So like that, because I was thinking about that, how, you know, in illusion we're, you know, if you hear that somebody is actually, you know, if somebody was defaming someone, actually assassinating their character, and they told you and told everybody else that this person shoots heroin, and the person doesn't actually really shoot heroin, right? And this person is a thief, and he doesn't go to work, but the thing is he does go to work and he does pay his rent, right? They're just saying that he didn't pay the rent, they're just taking his money. right? And they're saying he's a heroin addict, right? So they defame his character. So basically, it's psychologically all screwed up when somebody actually really meets this person and gets involved with this person. They're going, well, wait a minute, I heard you were a heroin addict and thief and you don't go to work. But the thing is that this is completely out of character. What, you change or something? You know what I mean? My boss told my mom was telling my boss all these stories. He said, you're crazy, lady, don't call back. And he told me about this. He said, yeah, your mom calls me and tells me all this stuff is completely out of character like that. You know, the pastor of my church, he was, he's on the side of my mom. He thinks all this derogatory stuff, you know, So, you know, unless you actually really know the person, but the thing is that because of what you heard about a person, you think that that's what the person's actually like, and it's really very disturbing to find out that the person actually isn't really like that, So, but when we hear about Krishna and Krishna's qualities, Krishna really is the perfect person. You know, he really is. You know what he says? He really kills demons for lunch. You know, there's no character assassination part of Krishna consciousness. You know, or his devotees. You know, like Papa was saying, Bhagavad Gita is the words about. Bhagavad Gita is the words of Krishna, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is the words about Krishna and about his pure devotees. So by hearing about the characteristics of the pure devotees, like Uddhava here, we're hearing about that. Even in his childhood, he didn't even want to come and eat the breakfast. It's like, okay, all right, you know, but you think he didn't even have anything. He was just thinking about Krishna and serving Krishna, that he didn't even wish to have it, didn't wish to have his breakfast. You know, it's like, what's the matter? Have you ever seen that? You used to have it on TV or something, you know. Well, what's the matter? You see him, he's not really eating. He's, oh, I'm not very hungry. I'm kind of like worried about this thing, that thing, and the other thing. I'm really kind of distracted, not feeling so good about stuff. Kind of depressed. So in Krishna consciousness, the only depression is like, you know, trying to, well, any anxiety or whatever, do our service nicely. You know, remember why we're doing our service. You know, we're just not some ordinary cooks, you know, some ordinary, you know, artisans just kind of making something, you know, like that. But it's for the deities, it's for Krishna, for like love and devotion. And so, you know, when I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking something or I'm planning something. You know, I'm thinking, you know, what is it? With one offered to me with love and devotion, a leaf, fruit, flower, or water, I will accept it, like that. And then persons who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily only eat lumps of sin. You know, so like that. So, you know, I kind of think about like that. You know, kind of detached from it, but attached to Krishna service. You know, detached from the sense gratification. Because, you know, we have to have, Prabhupada states that, you know, we have to have certain things, food, water, shelter, clothing, to satisfy the needs and demands of the body, but not to the point, to the fact, you know, beyond that, you know, where we become distracted from our devotional service, become implicated in karma, like that. So then, what was the other things he was talking about? I think that was really pretty much it. You know, he was speaking about the specific desires that one has, and when they're entering into family life, and then connect it all to Krishna and Krishna consciousness, Krishna service. So, I don't know, we don't really, you know, there's kind of does anybody have any comments or comments or points of discussion we can discuss? Or there's this other word here too, smarnam, remembrance. So Uddhava is remembrance of Krishna. So it's one of the smarnam, one of the 9 principles of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, smarnam, Padasevanam, Archana, Vandana, Dashyam. Yeah, you have a point of discussion?
I saw in the word for words, it said Ishvara, the Lord. And I was hearing in Vishnu Sahasranam, that's one name for Krishna, is Ishvara. He's the controller. And I was hearing one morning walk the other day, and these devotees were speaking with Srila Prabhupada about the scientists, and they were saying all these different theories that they come up with, and Srila Prabhupada is showing how all these theories are nonsense. And then one of the devotees was saying, they say everything comes from nature, and Srila Prabhupada is explaining, well, whose nature does it come from, and who's the controller of that nature? But then one of the devotees said, Srila Prabhupada, some of the scientists say that I can control nature. And Srila Prabhupada just said, what did he say? He said, that irritates me.
Yeah, the word Ishvara, it's in Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarna Karna. So the supreme controller, the Ishvara, is Krishna. Let's see, he is eternal blissful form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. And is the cause of all causes. Karna Karnam, and is the cause of all causes. So Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is Ishvara, the supreme controller. Is the cause of all causes, Karnam. He has a body, the Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So yeah, Prabhupada, he blasts those scientists. There's, we'll give you the chemicals. How about that? We'll give you the chemicals and you make life, but they can't even make a little tiny little fly. Right, actually, I guess they like the planaria. You cut the planaria in half, and it divides, it becomes two. It doesn't kill the planaria, but it becomes two planarias. They're like these little tiny tiny snail slug things, and then. And they like the frogs because, they're tadpoles, so they're like fish, and they grow legs and come, they're amphibious, come hopping up out of the water. Or lizards, they grow their limbs back. Yeah, you had a question or comment? Jai Gaur Nitai Ki Jai.
Noticing that we have a little time left, so I was since we just started the second canto. Basically, we just finished the first chapter and we're starting the second chapter. If you could kind of summarize from the very beginning for everyone what is taking place since the very beginning of the second canto in the first chapter, basically. Third canto, I mean. From the very beginning of the third canto, from the very beginning in the first chapter, which we just completed. And now that we're starting the second chapter, what is about to take place?
Yeah, let's see, Vidura had left the kingdom. Right, he wasn't actually insulted, but he was actually sorry. There's a specific point that Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they weren't very happy about that. What was it? He was on Krishna's side or something. He was stating that they should they should treat the Pandavas better or something. So they got angry. And so Uddhava hung his, Vidura hung his bow on the door and left, and went for pilgrimage. And so then, so many different things. Yeah, he came in, he met Uddhava. So the actual subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, is the discussions that Maitreya Rishi had imparted to Vidura. But that part's not coming up yet. Is that Vidura is speaking with Uddhava and is crying from Uddhava how everyone is. How are the Pandavas doing, and how are who are all the sons of the sons and grandsons of Lord Krishna, the Yadus, how are they all doing? So, we'll be getting to that point, but Uddhava, now in this second chapter of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava is going to be explaining about like how different things had manifested. Dhritarashtra went to the forest to perform austerities. Actually, that happens when Vidura comes back to King Yudhishthir's house, but he hears how the Kurus were annihilated in the Battle of Kurukshetra, and how the Yadus. What had happened was when the Yadus left this planet, it was according to Krishna's desire. Basically, there's the Yadus could be unconquerable. So Krishna saw in the future in Kali Yuga that if they were unconquerable and if they were to become corrupt, then it would be a very incongenial situation like that. So he wanted them to all leave the planet. And that's when Krishna left the planet. Generally, a hunter saw something in the tree, so he thought it was actually. Maharaj was speaking about this too at Wai Pandu. He was cursed to die because he had accidentally shot a grihastha couple when they were beginning their child begetting activity, and so Krishna, he was in the tree, and he looked like that something was moving, like a bird or something. So the hunter shot his foot with an arrow. Krishna fell down out of the tree dead. Generally, you don't die from a shot in the foot. So Krishna's activities are bewildering even to the demigods. But the arrow was made from an iron ore. It was the only piece that wouldn't get cut up into something even smaller. He's trying to shred it into smaller pieces, and they threw it in the ocean. So a fish swallowed the large piece, and all the other little grinding things, they became like seeds. They washed up on the shore and grew up in big bamboo poles. So the Yadus, they became intoxicated by drinking rice wine and got in an argument. So the Yadus, they started to fight and started to beat each other with these canes that grew from the iron ore. And where the iron ore came from, they tried to play a prank on a holy person. They put the whole iron ore in his stomach to make him look like he was pregnant, and dressed him up like a lady. He said, "Oh, great sage, can you please tell me if I'll have a boy or a girl?" And he said, "What you'll give birth to will be the destruction of your old dynasty." Like that. So that's why they tried to grind up the iron ore, and so now the fisherman, he caught a fish, and it had that part of the iron ore that was still in there that wouldn't grind down. The fish swallowed. So he made an arrowhead out of it, and put it on the end of his arrow, and that was the one that shot Krishna in the foot. So basically, we're going to hear about how different things have transpired. Krishna has left the planet. Just like in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Arjuna is lamenting that now, my best friend, well-wisher, has now left the planet. Now what to do? It's like, what is our duty now? Right, and Yudhishthira was saying so many different omens of the age of Kali Yuga approaching. And so now Uddhava is going to be speaking. Yeah, you have a question?
after Krishna departed, I heard that Arjuna was on his way back to Yudhisthira, and he got into like a fight with some cowherd boys or something like that, and he actually lost the fight.
I don't know about that, Leela. I've never heard that, unless Maharaj knows something about that. You know that, Lily? Well, can you relate what that is?
Yeah, I just was curious to know what happened there. And
I think we heard it just earlier in the Bhagavatam that when Arjuna comes back from going to visit Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj sees him and he's saying, "Why do you look so, pale and upset and unhappy? Did you do this? Did you do that?" He states all these different reasons for why he could have been upset, and then he says, because Yudhishthira Maharaj knew that it was because Krishna left the planet, because he was seeing all these omens, but he didn't want to say it. So then after all the questions, he said, "Or is it because you've lost your dearmost friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead?" And so that's what happened. After he went to go see Krishna, and Krishna had already left the planet, on his way back, he was protecting Krishna's queens, and then some, not powerful warriors like Arjuna, but some just like cowherd men came and went to take them all away, and he tried to defend them with his bow that he got from, I think, Lord Shiva. It's like invincible bow, and he couldn't even defeat these cowherd men. So he tells Yudhishthira Maharaj that I'm the same Arjuna, I have the same Gandiva bow and the same arrows, but now that my friend Krishna is gone, they're all useless. So that his power wasn't there once Krishna left.
Yeah, it's just like Srila Prabhupada. He's our source of authority or our strength. So Krishna is the strength, the authority, the protector of the Pandavas. Yeah, Krishna states that in Bhagavad Gita, he's the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. And he's the impetus and the ability in man and the inspiration, like that, yeah. So yeah, that's a real nice Leela. Okay, so any more questions, comments? You have a question or comment?
One other thing about the name Ishvara, when Srila Prabhupada was lecturing, I think it was to the hippies in Haight-Ashbury, he was explaining how we're always controlled. And so one of the hippies that was not very intelligent stood up and he was saying that, "I'm not controlled, I'm never controlled, I'm free, I can do what I want." And so Srila Prabhupada asked him, "Have you ever been sick?" And the hippie said, "Well, what do you mean by sick?" So it was a really intelligent question. And Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, you don't know sickness? Have you never been sick?" And then the hippie was saying, "Well, I've had measles before and, flu and this and that." And so, like this, when people were really dull, still the Srila Prabhupada or his merciful representatives would walk them through to realize that, okay, we're controlled at every step. I'm accepting different circumstances that I don't want to accept, but I have to.
Right, yeah, we have to accept certain circumstances even if we don't want them. So yeah, how can we say that we're independent, we're not controlled, we're actually controlled every step? We don't even perform our own actions, it's carried out by nature. The only, our free will, the proper use of our free will is to engage in the Krishna service, right? Otherwise, we'll be acting according to our nature anyways, but we'll be according to our nature that's like against our best interest. Some things we'll be taking credit for, right? If it's successful, we'll say that's me. And some things, we put it off on someone else. If it's a failure, right? We learn from our successful failures. That's what they were saying in the lecture on these two texts. But it would have to. We're walking. The same thing in Brahma Samhita, in the chain of actions, karma, it's in a chain that are linked together. Action and reaction, and action and reaction. And that will continue to go on. It's very intricate system of karma, action, and reaction. we get our reactions to impious activities and pious activities in this lifetime and in future lifetimes. And the reactions that we're getting now, which are also pious or impious, are from many, many millions of past lifetimes, that we don't even know or remember anymore. But they're discussing that someone is all out, like very wealthy and well-to-do, right? But then, according to our past karma, maybe perhaps, Jutta Karma was mentioning this. This is what I was reading. The Ishkan scientist. He was saying that in some of our previous lives, if we had left someone bereft of their wealth, then in this lifetime, we can pretty much have almost enough. It's always never quite enough what you actually really need, or we're just, down lowly, stricken with poverty, just can't seem to get up with it for very long, just moving from one circumstance to another circumstance, having to accept lower wages and like that, it's according to our karma. But, in this text here, also Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita that a yogi, unsuccessful, can take his birth again to continue his Krishna consciousness, his spiritual life in a family of brahmanas or in a family of rich mercantile family. So the purpose of being born in a rich mercantile family is that you have the time, you have the wealth, and you have the time to engage in Krishna's service, not specifically to be engaged in sense gratification like that. So that's the whole idea. It's kind of good karma to be born in a rich mercantile family, but it's still useless unless you're engaging in Krishna service. So that's the actual point of that, is to give you enough time freed up from your material activities, right? Because you have enough wealth to support yourself, and support your Krishna consciousness. So, but it's being misused. They don't know it. Those that are born in rich mercantile families now, they're puffed up, but everything's not enough. Even to them, they got a TV in every room, but it's still they're dissatisfied, like that. You'd think they'd be kept up with all the current affairs, all the current news, right? Maybe that's what's so dissatisfying. The news isn't very good news these days. Everything's all crazy, topsy-turvy. The waves of Kali Yuga are taking effect. So yeah, that is your question. Any other thoughts or comments on? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam class Ki Jai.